What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. We back in these streets, back in these work streets again. But you know what? Here to do a quick Chicago Cowboys preview. Game coming up. Cowboys travel to Chicago, going against the Bears. They're currently 0-2 with Ben Johnson, who is the new coach. He was the boy wonder in Detroit. Did so many great things with Detroit, Jared Goff and that team, and he went over there being the replacement for Mr. Matt Eberflus, who they said got to get out of here. Anyway, Cowboys go in after a thriller against the Giants, winning overtime, headed to the Bears. And just my quick thoughts on this game, some notes I took down. First of all, just my opinions on these things. This is going to be a weird game because we've seen time and time again. This is where I really want Brian Schottenheimer, Shotty, to really step up in this game, because this is a game where we see so many times in Cowboys history between Garrett, even McCarthy. We've just seen it in history where the Cowboys go and play a team who has not maybe won a game, or who is struggling, or who have players who are struggling against the whole NFL, and then all of a sudden they play the Cowboys, and then they have a career day or a career game. All of a sudden everybody's talking about them again. Cowboys put them in the limelight by letting them go off, and it either might be a backup, it'll be a quarterback who's not doing good, it might be a team who might lost 15 in a row, you know what I'm saying, a losing streak. The Cowboys are notorious of letting that type of team whoop their ass, right? And this is the perfect setup. So this is what I'm really looking at with Brian Schottenheimer. Can he overcome that? Because this happens so many times in Cowboys history and in the past, where they play a struggling team or a struggling player, or just the team is not doing good, and all of a sudden they magically go crazy against the Cowboys. Can't have that. So that's what I'm really, the main thing I'm looking at with Brian Schottenheimer. Obviously, I just said they're 0-2. They've only scored 24 points in 2 games. Now, the first 2 drives of their games, first against Minnesota, second against Detroit. Both of them started out, it says right here, averaging 7.5 yards per play on the opening drives, and scored touchdowns. After that, they struggle with turnovers, inconsistencies. Caleb Williams, they average 4.8 the rest of the way. So their opening drives are killer. From the rest of that point, they're a struggling team. Dallas can't let them get that opening drive anyway, because they're going to be at home. So that crowd is going to be crazy. Eberflus, I feel like you coach Caleb Williams. You've seen him. Albeit it was 1 year, you should know a little bit of his tendencies. So this might be a nice little chess match. And I ain't gonna lie, Ben Johnson is creative. So I think he's gonna try to use a lot of creativity against Eberflus in this game. He's gonna try trick plays, in my opinion, not like go crazy with trick plays, but he's gonna have a play or two, in my opinion, up his sleeve to confuse the Cowboys, especially with they had them issues on the back end with Donovan Wilson, Trevin Diggs, Malik Hooker, Elam. Bland is still going to be out the game. So I expect Ben Johnson to really go and try to attack that secondary again and really try to confuse them. And I think he's definitely good with that. It's really going to be up to the quarterback to make those plays, and that's why it's going to be huge for the Cowboys to put a lot of pressure on this dude, Caleb Williams, because he's the guy of the broken play. To me, he's the guy that always is trying to improvise and do extra things, and it gets him in trouble. But this is a situation where you can't have Caleb Williams scrambling, because he hasn't been able to do it against these other teams. All of a sudden, he's scrambling and looking like Michael Vick and throwing these long bombs, beating touchdowns, and just that's not. I have the vision of it because I've seen it so many times. But I think the Cowboys, I've seen it so many times. I'm like, this definitely could happen. But this is, like I said, it's going to come down to coaching discipline and the players having the discipline. If the man is playing zone, the players got to communicate. It can't just be always on the coach. The players have to communicate. It didn't happen in that game with Trevin Diggs, and it just happens too many times. Sorry, remember winning the streets. So just really can't have that. Chicago has lost 12 of the last 13 games. Um, like I said, Jared Goff had a crazy game against them, against their defense, 334 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was actually better when they pressured him in the game, when they didn't pressure him in the game. And that's one of the issues that the Bears have been coming up with is a lack of pressure. They picked up Grady Jarrett, another guy, I can't remember his name, they picked up in free agency. They got Montez Sweat. They got 3 sacks through 2 games, much like the Cowboys, but they've been saying that the pressure rate has been bad. And run game hasn't been great. DeAndre Swift, we know what he does. Like I said, Caleb Williams, you just really can't let this dude. I just really think he's an overrated quarterback, overrated #1 pick. I said that when he was at USC, when they're trying to say he's generational talent. He is definitely not a generational talent at all, in my opinion. But we can't. Cowboys just can't really let this dude really scramble and break plays and make plays with his feet and off, just off script. He's an off script quarterback, and that's just feel like that can give Cowboys problems. So, just my opinion. Hold on. Sorry about that. We in these streets, so it's crazy. But anyway, as I get ready to close, I'm not going to keep y'all too much longer. I'm not going to say this is a trap game because Cowboys are 1-1 and they're 0-2, but this is the game. Remember what I said in the very beginning. Coaching really has to be key, and discipline has to be key. You heard again. I heard Jerry Jones talking about playing hero ball. Guys need to do their assignments. I've been hearing this chant about hero ball since Michael Parsons, since Marcus Lawrence. I don't know if that's really happening, but just time and time again, these plays keep on happening in the secondary, big plays, where there's always a lack of communication. And I just don't always think it's the coordinator when these same players are doing the same things. So they got to really get some discipline, and they really got to play some good, solid, sound, disciplined football. 9 penalties last game, 4 first game, 9 the second game. Defense really has to be disciplined. You saw that they got Jadeveon Clowney. He's going to be in the fold. How many reps, we don't know. But you like to see James Houston. I think he has the highest pressure rate of the team right now. And we just need to see consistency in that back end. Pressure definitely has to happen. Dallas has to get pressure on Caleb Williams. Can't let him run around. Stuff in the run game, Dallas has been good with that. Kenny Clark has been a hell of an addition. Him and Solomon Thomas, Osa, Teoa have done good. But definitely got to get pressure and can't let this man move around and run around the pocket. That's the biggest thing. I don't want to see him scrambling, moving around the pocket, because I think he's just going to just be creating plays and throwing off script and throwing bombs. Can't happen. Keep DJ Moore out of it, because coach has been saying when he gets to not getting the ball, he gets pouty. There's not the effort. Romeo Adunez, he's been like the main #1 target. You still got Cole Ahmet, and then they got Loveland that they just picked up as well. Watch the underneath. Kenneth Murray, Sanborn played over there last year. We'd like to see Maris Leofau get more reps, but it looks like Sanborn might be green dot guy, or at least Eberflus is sticking with him. Kenneth Murray had a very good game. DeMo Clark is playing better. Still like to see Maris Leofau in there. Elam got to step his game up. Diggs got to step his game up. This could just be really a big game for this opposing team. They're 0-2, not trying to go 0-3 under the Ben Johnson era. They're desperate. There's a lot of talk there, so they're gonna play. They're gonna play like a desperate team. They really are. And the pressure rate is bottom barrel 28th. Pressure win rate is 29th. Right now, they're just a struggling team. J.J. McCarthy, who's a struggling quarterback who just got hurt for the Vikings, came back and beat them. And everybody's saying J.J. McCarthy is struggling. He came back and beat them. You saw Jared Goff. He don't get no pressure. He ate them alive. So you saw Dak Prescott is playing a top-notch football right now. Jalen Johnson is out. But You got Cooper Beebe who's hurt. I don't know if Terrence Steele's playing the best football right now. Guyton is up and down. So this offensive line could have some issues against this defensive line. It really could. You can't let these guys who haven't done anything right now on the defensive line as far as pressure all of a sudden look like the 85 Bears against you. So get your receivers in there early. I think the Cowboys can run against this team, get that running game early. I still love to see a Jaden Blue sighting because the speed could really hurt them, especially. I know they got Edwards back on that, and both Edwards as linebackers, but they've not been what they've wanted, especially Edwards who came over from Buffalo. You can really expose them in the passing game. This might be another big Dak game. I hate to see him throw another 50-yard game, but 50-yard pass attempt, but this might be another game where he's throwing it like 40 times, and the team rides and dies with Dak. Let's be honest. So Pickens, Ferguson, Lamb, I think Turpin will be okay. Expose that. I love to see your young running back in there because that speed could be huge, but you got to get some pressure on this quarterback, Caleb Williams. Don't let theirs sit him take forever and find plays. Get him on the ground, hit him early. He makes mistakes. Keep him, bottled up. He's just not that guy in my opinion. So don't make him look like that. The number one quarterback. See, we told you about Caleb Williams. We told you, no, I don't want to hear about that. This could be that weird game where this team is struggling and come in and whoop your ass and not do nothing the rest of the way. That's what I feel. So coach these guys up and play disciplined football. That's the mantra. Coaches got to understand what always happens to Dallas, and the players have to play disciplined football. Big Game James, I'm out. Peace.